9:30 in the morning. What have we been doing? Well, we got a good night's sleep and there's a lot to study. See, I don't have to counter anything. Where's T-Rex going to go? Right over to where he thinks there's a baby bunny. Rabbit from yesterday over in that corner. It is brisk. It's only 53, 54 degrees, same as it was yesterday morning. The wind is a little less harsh, but it's still windy here. And we have what we call ocean effect clouds out over the ocean that have to do with the cold air coming in over the relatively warm water. Temperature up in the sky went down to 32 degrees at about, 6,000 feet. And the water temperature is about 62 degrees. That creates about a 30-degree temperature differential between the surface of the sea and the air that causes a little steam and condensation. You want to see some condensation and steam? How about this morning in Bakersville, Connecticut? Dennis Miller, always out there. Got a little Christmas tree farm going. And it was a heavy frost and steam coming off of what's pretty much parched land now, right? But when you get so cold, it kind of condenses all the moisture. So 27 degrees this morning, I think was what Dennis said, somewhere in there in the upper 20s. A lot of people reporting the coldest weather so far. Carl Weller, is that frost or ice on Carl's truck last night? I think you got a heavy dew that formed at the sunset yesterday, and then the dew formed and turned into ice, as opposed to sort of the condensation going right to a frost. So it didn't accrete frost, it had a dew that froze, and that's ice. And it's confirmed by up the road there from you, Carl. This is Sterling, and he's got a dog also named T-Rex, and his new dog is named Snowflake. Although he was surfing in Maine yesterday, he drove back to Jeffersonville at his camp this morning and said everything was covered with, he didn't say frost, he said ice. And there's the view looking over in your direction. So thank you, contributors from Connecticut to Vermont, reporting ice. Summit of Mount Washington last night in the middle of the night got down to 24 degrees. So it wasn't just the valleys. This was a deep, cold air mass. And Mount Washington looking beautiful this morning. It's less windy on Mount Washington this morning, about, 15 miles an hour, than it is here at my house, where we are at least 15 miles an hour, gusting to 20 miles an hour. I didn't get the regional roundup while it was still cold, but here's some of the numbers. It's still freezing in parts of northern New England as of 9 o'clock, and the red numbers are the wind gusts. So there's very little wind in most of New England, except along the coast here in southern New England, and of course the ocean to our south. And we are getting wind, not from a hurricane, but from a high pressure system that came in yesterday. That high, 10:33. There it is, 2 o'clock this afternoon. And that is no isobars over New England. So the wind is going to die down a little bit as the day goes on here in southern New England, turn into sort of a light onshore, and inland it's going to be calm. Still in the cool side of the front though, so temperature's only about 60, 65 maybe. And in Boston yesterday, Logan Airport reported 7 heating degree days with an average temperature. I think the low was 52 and the high was 63 or 4, somewhere in there. So 7 heating degree days, meaning the energy company thinks that when it gets this cool outside, you're going to turn your heat on inside the house. And inside my house, we did not turn the heat on. It's down to 67 degrees indoors, which isn't that big a deal. But guess what? That's the sky condition for about the next 4 or 5 days. So passive solar is going to warm us up. And I'm not turning the heat on. I hope I don't have to turn the air conditioner on. Raven. Good morning. It's a crow. Can you tell the difference between a raven and a crow? Can you tell the difference between an ocean effect cloud and a regular cloud? Let's look at the satellite image this morning. The real big picture from the coast of Europe to the coast of the United States, and right in the middle, just a massive cloud. The storm known as Umberto has sheared into pieces, and that's just that part of that cloud now established along the old front that has been stalled from northwest Europe to the southeastern United States. And now Hurricane Imelda went right over Bermuda last night, and the southern part of the island was in the northern part of the eye wall last night in Bermuda, And then you have a little purple dot now down next to Miami. That little purple dot, the National Hurricane Center says, is a very small chance, 10% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone in the next 48 hours or even the next 7 days. That old front from northwestern Europe to the southeastern United States remains intact. And more rains for Florida. And that front, let's go look at it at a different perspective here using the Ocean Prediction Center. And you can see those two 992 lows. It says developing hurricane force. So what they're saying is the two low pressure systems that are the remnant of Humberto may develop a hurricane force gale, but it would not be tropical. It will not get another name. And then you do have Imelda, which is going to kind of join the club. It'll be interesting to see how long Imelda holds together as a tropical cyclone. The difference being a tropical cyclone means warm core. Otherwise, a gale center or a nor'easter would be cold core. And so it's kind of semantics there, but it's interesting. And it's not coming near New England. Our high pressure system is here for the foreseeable future. And, well, the better part of the next 10 days, that's our foreseeable future, goes out from today out to Saturday, October 11th. And this high will be evolving from the current cold high pressure system to a warmer and warmer to record warm high pressure system. This morning at Saranac Lake, New York, it was 23 degrees. The record was 22 from October 2nd, 1947. So near record cold today, and it's going to be record warm probably by about Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, especially away from the coast. Here's the meteogram for Nashua, New Hampshire, and you see today in the 60s, beautiful day. Look at all this sunshine. The dew point is gradually coming up, and the temperature is too. So by Saturday, we're pretty close to 80, and then we're going to be in the lower 80s, I think, for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And generally, the model guidance tries to tend closer to climatology, so don't be surprised if these numbers are about 2 to 5 degrees too cool. In other words, we could be in the mid-80s in a lot of spots, especially well away from the coast in New England next week. So record cold to record warm. And now let's do the play-by-play using the Euro model. And our hurricane's off. You can just barely see the isobars from the hurricane on the lower right there disappearing. And with no isobars over New England, a nice blue H. That means sinking air. So now tonight could be frosty again in spots, but not colder than it was. It'll be colder where we go calm in southeastern Massachusetts. Now we'll have a chance of getting into the 30s and 40s here in southeastern Massachusetts because of the lack of wind. But then as the high gets off to our south, it starts warming up with a southwesterly flow. And again, I mentioned yesterday, there's a chance for a backdoor cold front here on Sunday as a high goes to our north, a little bit of an easterly wind from Maine to Massachusetts, but that's insignificant. And you did see a storm coming in off from the northwest. It was a lot of moving parts here, and it may be snowing in Wyoming there Sunday into Monday, maybe parts of Montana. And there's going to be a new storm coming into southwestern United States too. There's going to be an upper level trough down there, but those storms are going to be tracking through the Rockies north into Canada. And as they go to our north, there's just an incredible plume of warmth to our north, and you see the 570 ridging, 570 decameters being very warm to record warm all the way up into eastern Ontario and Quebec, and it'll be warmer in Canada probably than it will be in New England because that air coming directly from Texas into Canada where we may have a little bit of an ocean influence. And then the front's getting close to us here on Tuesday, and then look at the isobars. The black lines really tighten up Tuesday. Wednesday looking like a potent front. Now this is the third day in a row with a potent front. It's sped up a little bit, but this is day 2 in a row where it shows heavy rains and thunderstorms coming in here with a wind from the southwest gusting past 40, and then all of a sudden the wind from the northwest gusting past 30 on Wednesday night and Thursday with the 540 and the 534, cold enough for snow, decameters thickness to our north. And it does look like there's blue and purple on the map there with snow missing us to the north next Thursday into Friday and even out to next Saturday. We're right in the middle now. This is day 10, so we're going to stop it right here. Saturday, October 11th. And we're surrounded. There's a 9-something millibar low to our north with rain and snow, and you see those blue lines, cold enough for snow. And then to our south, it looks like something subtropical south of Nantucket. And then to our west, there's kind of a clipper or a wave, but it's not a clipper because it came from the southwestern United States. And that's coming with rain up into Michigan. And right in the middle, we're surrounded by weather, but we have a high pressure system coming right across New England, and that would be the 15th nice Saturday in a row if this works out on Cape Cod. But I got to say that's a really low confidence because we're surrounded by weather at that point, and how rare is it that a 5 to 10 day forecast comes out correct? If that was correct from 2.5 weeks ago with the GFS, we would have snow on the ground, huh, Josh, up in northern Vermont, who says, I see snow in the 15-day forecast. Well, you're not going to see a 15-day forecast for snow here because you're going to see here in the out the door weather and more. And I'd say we're done with the weather forecasting part, and I'll just tell you what I mean by that, is you're going to see snow in the forecast. If you look at these weather models in days 10 to 15, every run now through Memorial Day, and you just can't stare at them because they don't come true. So when they get into within 240 hours, the 10-day, you'll see them here on Out the Door Weather and More, and we won't really believe it, but if they get into the 120-hour realm within 5 days, then we'll believe it. There is no snow in the forecast for New England. However, in the and more, yesterday T-Rex and I went for a walk, and we got to consult some weather wizards, the woolly bear caterpillars. We found 3 of them. And so we'll talk to the woolly bear caterpillars. And we have some surfing going on. Yesterday, Sterling, same person that sent us the frosty pictures this morning, was in the water in Maine. And boy, did it look glassy. Very little wind in Maine. And he says he did a front 360. Is that what you said? I don't know how you were holding the camera, but I'm sure it looked much more dramatic than it did in your little video, but thank you for sharing. Much appreciated, Sterling, and everybody that contributes. And he had a friend surfing in Florida yesterday too, and this is Deerfield, Florida, and wow, look at that left. Well, thank you for sharing. So Florida to Maine has had the great surf, but here in eastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island, it's just been too beat up. So this morning we have about a 5-foot swell and about a 6 or 7 second period. So the wind just beat it all up. So we don't have a ground swell. And I think with those hurricanes moving away, we're not going to see any more long period ground swell. But the fact that we do have this northeast wind here for several days, maybe as it goes calm, we'll have some leftover fun little surf here from Nantasket to Cape Cod. And in Maine, I'm sure Sterling's going to be out there again today. All right, we've got some workers coming over and checking out the scene here, and we'll be watching for you. What a day, blue sky, warming trend on the way, and like we like to say before the end more, yesterday's weather today, and more. Oh, I forgot to do the sports. Hey, Steve. Yeah, Red Sox, great game. So much like the night before, we were doing some cooking in the kitchen, and the lobster and scallops that were gifted to me turned into a little bit of a sort of lobster bisque-ish type meal. And the Red Sox held on, made it look good, and those long drives, if it could have been 10 foot longer, would be having a celebration. The Red Sox would be done with the playoffs, but instead, Game 3, again in New York City. Game 3 to this evening. We'll see what we make in the kitchen this time. We'll show you tomorrow in our And More from yesterday. Well, what is it? Outdoor and More, 11 a.m. Can't really hide from the wind right now, but we've got an excavator right down front. What's it doing down there? And this boat right into the wind. Oh yeah. And these clouds, few clouds, pretty much ocean effect clouds because of the colder air coming across the warmer water. So some of the first ocean effect clouds we've seen in some time. Out the south facing door now. Into the sun, it's a lot warmer. Most of New England has a blue sky. These ocean effect clouds really only in southeastern New England. Still got some of my summer flowers going. And the autumn flowers looking good. It's cilantro and basil and mums that I keep going every year now. Get some pumpkins to add into the mix. Good day for mowing, pruning a little bit. Watching clouds race by. Dual hurricanes offshore, moving away. Wow, it's only 57 degrees. The water temperature's in the low 60s, so this is just pure cold air back on the north side of the house. Get a better look what's going on here. Clean it up. Remember T-Rex barking at that plant all morning? Baby bunnies in there, Rex? Must be. I don't see one. But dogs know better. All those clouds that were here are gone. T-Rex and I just went for a walk a short time ago. And I've never before done this. I found 3 woolly bear caterpillars at the same time. Made them a little terrarium. And a little bit disturbing that they all have the same markings. It's a triple play, which when you get consistency in your guidance, it's usually higher confidence. Anyhow, can you see the colors? Oh, I shouldn't have used this. Wrong color. Okay, where were we? It was a little too wrong color in the front yard. Now it's kind of windy in the backyard, but we're talking about the woolly bear caterpillar, also known as the Isabella tiger moth. It's looking for a place to rest for the winter. It's feeding. I gave it a little nourishment here. And folklore says that the amount of black at the tip and the tail could portend how our winter's going to be. So where's the head and where's the tail? That's a tough one, right? I think that's the tail and I think that's the head. So black on both ends would indicate a pretty good start to winter. And then you get the mild in the middle and cold again at the end in springtime, which is actually great in New England because winters are too cold as it is. So if we can get some colder, abnormally cold weather to start the winter and end the winter, and mild in between, that'd be just right. Early snow and then not too cold and more snow at the end. So this guy's headed for the hills. How often do you find 3 of them on one walk? So clearly that's the head. So cold start, mid, brown, mild winter, and then cold spring. 3 of them on one walk. What are the odds of that? And they're both headed south right now. So you know what that means? Winter is coming. The caterpillar will turn into a tiger moth in the springtime. Ready? Gonna jump? They got a good grip. Look at that. More and more and more. Oh yeah, and I saw that the Pope blessed a block of ice today, hoping to change the climate. Can you bless these woolly bear caterpillars, please? Steve, what do you think? You ever seen anything like these before? They got a good grip. Oh, looks like one jumped. Okay. Relocating them to where else but the worm farm and the rabbit farm. You can live in there for the winter. We'll see you as caterpillars in the springtime. I mean caterpillars turning into moths in the springtime. Bye. Jump. I can't get him to jump. Go ahead. Jump. Jump. Tomato? You like tomato? There you go. There you go. Oh yeah, that's tasty. Bye-bye. Little cumulus cloud remaining. And the wind is definitely not 20 miles per hour, and I don't see any sails, so maybe the sailboat race season is over. Turning into summertime again this weekend. Weather waves roll on and on and on. And thank you for the correction, Brian, that warm winds webcam faces kind of east, so it's a southwest wind that is an offshore wind at Narragansett Town Beach. I am educated by the viewers. Thank you very much. Is that Andrew? Little chop there. Links will be here before you know it, right there. 5:30, and I see a couple sailboats there. Is that you, Jeff? On the left, black seal, and what looks like a starter boat on the other side of that island. that I should know the name of. Sheep Island. I think that's the one. Either sheep or grape. There are definitely sailboats, so I think we have a race. And it's definitely not 20 knots, maybe 13, 14. Which is kind of just right, huh? The Boston buoy is 17 knots, gusting to 23 knots. Logan Airport is 14 miles an hour. It's more like 12 knots. And I think I counted about 7 or 8 sailboats to conclude the Summer 25 Twilight Series sailboat race off a Hull, sponsored by, I think, the Hull Yacht Club. Racers from Hingham, Weymouth, Quincy, and a partial towards Black Seal. Try a little bit of a time lapse here as the sun gets low quick now. Twilight series ends, and I've heard of the Frostbite series. That's next, right? In Boston Harbor. Time goes by too fast, doesn't it? Boats are. I just turned away for a minute. Check out the Red Sox game. They're not playing at Fenway, which I don't think is fair. Yankee Stadium again tonight. Do it again, Red Sox, do it again. I reserve the right to add another clip from the Red Sox game. If they win the series, do we get games back at Fenway? I believe we do. So just past 6 p.m. Janet just says, is it freezing out? And I said, yes, it is. And freezing this time of year is like 60 degrees and windy. That's what we have. 60 degrees and windy. How about a couple time lapse from Cape Cod and Weymouth. A few ocean effect clouds in the morning, I would assume, over at Bass River. Evaporated pretty quickly, especially with the setting sun. And here in Weymouth, the woolly bear caterpillar says, winter is coming, and we will get whatever Mother Nature decides. Mother Nature has the final word. Show you the moon, but it's too low in the southern sky. The beauty of the harvest moon is it lingers and lingers, so we get to have a nice view of it with a mostly dry and clear sky for the next several nights. We'll get that going for us.